Good evening, this is NEWS.PH. I'm Pia Ontiveros. If there were two pieces of legislation that grabbed most of the nation's attention, it would have to be the reproductive health bill that already passed both the Senate and the House, what with that big push from President Aquino, and the Freedom of Information bill, which, well, still languishes in limbo, wherever that may be. But let's see. Let's talk about that tonight. Our guest here in the studio, Congressman Erin Tañada, the main proponent of the FOI bill. And if we're lucky and can reach them by telephone, Congressman Ben Everdone, Chairman of the House Committee on Public Information, and Majority Leader Boyet Gonzales. So, Congressman Tañada, thank you for joining us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Pia, and thank you for having me as your guest the first day.
First day, right. First day of NEWS.PH for 2013. So is it going to be a happy new year for you when it comes to the FOI?
Well, we still have 9 session days left. We start on January 21, end on February 7, and hopefully on the first session day on January 21, the chairman would be able to sponsor the Freedom of Information bill at the floor.
Okay, but you said, and very pointedly, you said hopefully.
Yes.
So that word hope, are hopes dimming? Or will the FOI bill pass or not?
Well, I look at it still as there's still that opportunity as long as we hurdle the question of quorum. If we do hurdle the question of quorum, then the possibility of the FOI being voted upon before we go on recess for the campaign period is there.
But even if there is that campaign period much later on, and as you yourself had said this before and observed correctly, congressmen don't really wait for that campaign period, no? Several weeks before that, they're already out.
That's the reason why when session starts in January 21, I hope that the leadership would allow a little leeway like they did during the reproductive health bill, that during the interpellation and debates, that they would allow session to proceed even if there is a seemingly lack of quorum. And when the time to vote on the amendments come in, then I would agree that there's a need for quorum there.
Okay. On December 3, 2012, Congressman Tañada, you tweeted, and I quote, "If the FOI makes it to the plenary, I wonder if it will have a hard time like the RH bill," unquote. Do you still have that same question in mind?
Well, looking at the opposition lined up, it is more with regard to the issue on the right of reply. And I've always mentioned that I have a position against it. But if it is the will of the majority of the congressmen to include it, what can I do? So that would be taken into a vote as an amendment to the bill. So that would have to be accepted.
But are there the numbers for that, for a right of reply provision?
We will see.
Is it that important to Congress?
We will see, because remember in the 14th Congress, although the makeup of congressmen is not the same, there was a bill on the enactment of a right of reply law. And it never got voted upon on second reading because of certain maybe misgivings of certain congressmen with regard to the effects of a right of reply. But we do not know, because my thinking is that outside of some members of the administration coalition, there are also members of the minority who favor the inclusion of a right of reply provision.
Okay. Masyado na bang maraming palusot ang mga umaayaw sa FOI?
Well, para sa akin, kung titignan natin nasayang hindi dapat naghahabol tayo ngayon, parang last 2 minutes sa basketball. Kung nagkaroon tayo ng hearing nung 2011, baka natapos na ito bago nga yung reproductive health bill. Pero dahil walang isang hearing na tinawag para sa Freedom of Information, bagamat ang Committee on Public Information ay nagpapatawag ng hearing, hindi lang
sa ibang
hindi sinasama sa agenda, nag-aksaya talaga tayo ng isang taon.
So what exactly for you is the palusot?
Well, the palusot that I've been hearing is that management style of the chairman. He would rather have a consensus reached outside of a formal committee hearing before calling for a formal committee hearing. But I feel that that reasoning that goes against the issue, goes against the legislative process, where we want as much debate, as much comments coming from the members of the committee to come out with a more particular, more specific language that may be agreeable to everyone.
Exactly at what stage is the FOI bill now? Has it been reported out by the committee?
It has been reported out.
Okay. So it's a matter of
sponsoring it on the floor. As a matter of fact, before the reproductive health bill was ratified, the chairman was scheduled to sponsor the bill. He was already distributing his sponsorship speech to media, but everybody wanted to just focus on the RH to get it over and done with.
Okay, but Congressman Ben Evardon is sponsoring the FOI bill. That's an interesting
Well, he's the chairman of the committee, and usually
Yeah.
the chairmen have the first crack at sponsoring. I've always mentioned that I'd be always beside him if the bill needs to be defended on the floor.
Okay. You mentioned already that you only have 9 session days left,
session days.
January 21 until February 6. Let's bring those dates up on the screen behind us. So that's January 21, 22, 23, 28, 29, 30, and February 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
Imposible namang hindi pa maisingit dyan.
Oo nga. Kaya nga, kung magiging stricto yung mga ilang mga kasamahan, yung mga tumututol talaga dahil gusto nga yung usapin ng right of reply or gustong mag-interpolate, di pumasok sila. No? Pabayaan natin na pag-usapan, pagdebatihan itong mga iba't ibang mga provision. Meron nga na gustong isingit nga yung the freedom of information should also include information inside private corporations. Now, that is also another...
Really? Private corporations?
This is a
Who
proposed
wanted
amendment
that?
by Congressman Romualdo.
Okay.
He's coming from the point of view that he feels that the government agency is doing oversight. For example, this pyramiding scam, pre-need corporations that are folding
They're
up.
regulated by government.
They're
So that's
regulated.
practically everything.
That's why
Pero parang ibang mundo na ata yan ah.
Tama. And para sa akin, kung meron ganun pananaw, dapat hindi natin tinitignan yung FOI dahil maliwanag naman yung parameters na pasagyan sa Ligang Batas. Pero ang kailangan tignan natin yung regulatory bodies na tumitingin sa mga korporasyon na yan, SEC, to find out kung anong kulang sa SEC na kapangyarihan na pwedeng tignan.
So he can always file a separate bill or amend whatever law governs that particular agency, no?
Yes, but he wants it included. So we'll see. I said, again, I submit myself to the plenary. The bill is there for everybody to scrutinize, and if that's the will of the majority, then so be it.
Okay, you said, Congressman Tanyada, that the House has no choice but to act on it, right? Because the Senate had already passed it on third reading.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, the pressure is on the House to do the same, because if we look back at legislative history, the House was the first to pass the FOI in the 14th Congress. And then the Senate followed suit. And it was at this point where there was a bicameral conference committee report, both that was approved by the Senate and the House, and then later on ratified by the Senate. And then the House was not able to ratify on question of quorum.
Okay. Well, you know, at this point, what we were supposed to have was Congressman Evardone on the phone joining us live, but I understand that we can't contact him right now. No? Although earlier he had promised that he would join us if we could reach him, but he must be in some unreachable place. Where? In Samar? Somewhere in Samar? Sayang, ang dami kong tatanungin sana. Like, for example, you know, there was this caricature, that cartoon that you used, no?
Well, it was used by the advocates.
By the advocates in a
Yes,
press
they were the
conference.
ones.
But you used it. Nilagay mo dun sa, is it your office?
Yes,
Yan, your
I
office?
placed it in my office.
Oo.
It
Ano
was
yun, yung dribble?
Yes, because if we look at the track record or the records of the committee with regard to the FOI, you would really see a gap between the time the technical working group was constituted in November of 2010, and then completed its work sometime in June 2011. we were ready to present it to the mother committee to answer the different concerns of some congressmen, but there was no hearing held. And then the next hearing that was called was March 2012. We wanted another hearing in August, but that did not come. That was not scheduled. Another hearing in October, and then that was the excuse given that they could not find a room, and then that's why there was the hearing in November.
Yeah. Oh, and that's why we wanted Congressman Everdone on the line with us. But anyway, well, pero dribble ba yan or dribbling ba yan or traveling? Or your answer after this break. We continue this discussion on the fate, good or bad, depending which side you're on the Freedom of Information Bill. Right after the break, News.PH will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to News.PH on the Solar News Channel, the Freedom of Information Bill and its fate. That's what we're talking about tonight. Here with us, Congressman Erin Tañada. We also are trying to get in touch with Majority Leader Boyd Gonzales, but most people, of course, are on their Christmas and New Year's break. But anyway, Congressman Erin Tañada, you mentioned earlier yung right of reply.
Yes.
No? Of course, I wish we could hear from the others. What exactly is the connection between the Freedom of Information Bill and right of reply? Hindi ba pwedeng hiwalay na batas yun?
As a matter of fact, there are two separate bills that was filed in the Committee on Public Information with regard to the right of reply. One was filed by, if I'm not mistaken, Congressman Romualdo, and the other one was filed by Congressman Marcoleta. And again, the chairman did not entertain these bills nor call any committee hearing with regard to these bills. So maybe this prompted Congressman Antonino to come out with an FOI bill that included a section on the right of reply. So maybe they felt that the FOI is more popular, it would pass, might as well have a rider and baka makasingit.
Okay. Ano ba kaya, or ano kaya ang susi dito? What is the key to the passage of the Freedom of Information Bill? Is it support from the President, from Malacanang?
Well, maybe a statement, a strong statement would help, no? Although he has already
as strong
come
as
out.
what he said for the RH bill, no? I would have voted for it.
Well, yes, but if we look at the timelines, he mentioned that when he wanted the period of amendments to be terminated and proceed to the vote. So he has come out. He has come out in January 2012. The fact that the study group of Malacanang engaged the House of Representatives, engaged the technical working group with regard to their concerns, shows that they are really in favor of the bill. Now the question, of course, is when when will this be put into a vote?
Okay. Well, let's have Secretary Ricky Carandang first join us live by telephone. I'm sure he's not in Malacanang. Are you there right now? Secretary Carandang, hi. No, that doesn't sound like Secretary Ricky Carandang. We'll get back to him. We'll get back to him in a little while. Okay.
You know, Pia, the danger with the right of reply, because the way they want it, they think that the media is not responsible enough to get two sides of the story.
Okay.
So what if, this is the question that I'd like to pose to them, what if media has gone out of its way and got the other side?
Exactly, which is what happens most of the time.
And the person still feels that it is not enough.
Right. Or refuses to reply. May ganun eh.
Wala
ayaw
pang
magsalita.
reply.
Or ayaw magsalita.
Or ayaw magsalita. So who would adjudicate whether media has done its job or not? It can't be the person who's aggrieved.
Right.
Because
and it cannot be Congress.
That's why. So where would be due process here? You can't just demand right away from media. No, the comment that you printed is not accurate or is not enough. I still feel aggrieved. Then I should be given space, given time, given I still think that's a
Uy,
violation.
ano yun, martial law. Anyway, well, speaking of media, let's talk to a former media colleague of mine now. He's joining us live by telephone. I'm sure not from Malacanang at this time of the evening. Secretary Ricky Carandang. Hi, Secretary Ricky. Do we have Secretary Ricky Carandang on the line? Secretary Carandang? Anyway, let's go back to Congressman Tañada. Give him all the airtime. No, I'm sure that there's a little audio problem lang. Oh, technical lang. Okay. Itong, yung sa right of reply nga, and you yourself said it merong mga hinihingan namin ng panig nila, ayaw naman sumagot. Hindi ba? So ano yung pinagsasabi nila? Well,
yun nga, yun yung nakakatakot dito dahil sino ang magpapasya kung hindi ginampanan ng media yung trabaho nila. Hindi pwede yung taong humihingi ng spasyo. No? Hindi dapat yun. They should go to court or so that there would be fairness and media and the court would be able to adjudicate whether media has done its job or not. So that is not in their right of reply. It's what they're asking for is they're demanding right away equal time, equal space.
Yeah, okay. You also said a while ago, earlier, that Congressman Ben Verdone just has to deliver his sponsorships, sponsor the committee report on the floor of the House bill. No? But the question is, yung pag-sponsor niya, kailangan i-calendar yan, kailangan i-schedule yan, kailangan ilagay sa...
Well, naka-schedule na eh.
Naka-schedule na when?
Well, it was, like I mentioned, it was supposed to be read before the ratification of the
okay, well, that didn't happen. So itong January 21,
it's in the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Yeah,
okay.
So it will just be it will just need the majority floor leader to call it out.
Okay. So it's on the agenda. Is it what? Number 1, number 2, number 3?
That I wouldn't know if
okay. But it's first on the agenda. There's nothing else that comes before that. Or is that kung Monday yun, privilege hour pa, yung mga ganon?
Yes, but privilege hour is 1 hour. So that can go. 1 hour can be spent on privileged speeches. And then after that, we can proceed with sponsorship.
Okay. So ang dapat bantayan ng media at ng taong bayan is on January 21st at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the lower house resumes session, what's going to happen if the sponsorship speech of Congressman Ben Verdone will happen or not?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible for the House not to act on the FOI bill?
It's possible.
As in just ignore what the Senate did?
Yes, it's possible because we're two independent houses that work based on what they believe is important in their respective houses. So it's possible that the House may not act at all.
But you have, the entire country watching, knowing and knowing full well that the FOI bill is on the back burner and is being pushed slowly to the forefront. Magkukunwari na lang na it doesn't exist or what?
Well, I don't think so. I think there's a commitment from the Speaker that he wants to have a vote on the FOI before the 9 session days end. No? So at least he has come out with that statement before Christmas. So we are hoping that the Speaker will allow the debate to happen and will allow also the period of amendments to move forward.
Okay. Well, we have Congressman Ben Verdone on the line right now. Congressman Verdone, good evening.
Good evening, Pia. Good evening, Erin. Good evening to the televiewers.
Hi, can you tell us exactly where you are? Kasi nag-iisip tuloy ako at saang lupalop ng bundok kayo nandyan ngayon.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you tell us, Congressman Verdone, where you are?
Nandito sa distrito po.
Sa distrito. Baka masama lang signal.
Oo, erratic po, erratic.
Okay. Smart or Globe ba kayo? Oh, never mind. I mean, I'm so glad that I can hear your voice right now. But I'm sure, let's begin, Congressman Verdone. I'm sure you're aware of the caricature, the cartoon that was made about you, yung, totoo bang dinidribble mo lang ang FOI bill?
Kanya-kanyang opinion po yan, pero tayo po, ginagampanan lang po natin yung trabaho po natin. Alam niyo po, yung FOI sa mababang kapulungan, hindi katulad ng FOI sa Senado po . Yung sa Senado po, masyadong simple po. Dito po sa amin, ilang versions ba yan? 16. At may mga controversial na mga provisions po dyan, unlike in the Senate. So, yun po naging problema po natin dyan. But
So
anyway, nasa Committee on Rules na po yan. So, hopefully, may schedule po yan ngayong pag-presume namin, and then we'll be able to decide on it, siguro.
Oo. Dapat matapos na, no? Do you think we could just, do you think that you could just vote on it already? Naghihintay lang naman yung buong bayan.
Pwedeng pagbotohan yan, pwedeng ayusin yung, well, kasi may mga issues that have to be resolved, yung mga hindi namin na-resolve sa committee level. So, yun po ang ano.
Oh. Well, Congressman Tañada was saying that on January 21st, you're already scheduled to deliver your sponsorship speech. Is there any possibility na baka hindi pa matuloy yun?
Dala-dala ko na nga for the past last session days namin before we adjourned for the Christmas break. Pero yung RH was a priority bill as certified as urgent by the President. So, yun, wala tayong magawa doon. Hopefully this 21st, baka makatayo na tayo doon at makapag-sponsor, makapag-debate na at mapasok yung mga amendments, mapagbotohan.
Oo. And then yes or no lang naman, di ba? Kung ipasa nyo o hindi, basta gumawa kayo ng aksyon.
Oo, tama po yan.
Para matapos na.
Ipaupayan siguro sa kapulungan na. Yun ang mag-decide siguro.
Okay. What is your information?
Kung gusto ba namin yan o hindi, o anong gusto nilang amendments, kung mayroong gustong i-propose na amendments, kung tanggapin o hindi. Dapat ma-desisyonan po siguro yan.
Congressman Everdone, what is your information? Is there going to be a big push for Malacanang for this?
Mahirap magsalita po. I don't know. I don't want to speak for Malacanang. But in fairness, they have not signified their opposition to the bill. In fact, they have been very cooperative in crafting a new version, their inputs and proposed amendments. Ganun po.
Well, on Monday, January 21, you're scheduled for sponsorship speech. Do you think you can go into what's next? A period of amendments?
Well,
na,
hello.
interpellation and debate.
Interpellation and debate. Do you think you can go into that right away, or is that going to be moved to January 22, 23, 26?
It will depend on the floor leader. If we are scheduled on the 21st, I think several authors have signified their intention to deliver sponsorship speech. Si Kung Erin, sila, yung iba pa. So maybe after that, pwedeng debate ka agad.
Oo. So do you think you can actually vote on it before February, on or before February 6?
Sana po dahil we will have to reconcile our own version with the Senate po. Dapat before that, we have to act on it. Kasi I think our version is different from the Senate.
Okay.
So we'll have to reconcile.
My one last question, Congressman Everdone. What is the people's pulse about this, about the FOI?
Hindi ko alam. Siguro gusto ng tao, no? Gusto ng tao. Gusto natin yan. Gusto ng tao yan. Hindi ko alam kung may survey tungkol dyan eh. Pero that's a good bill. It will enhance transparency, good governance, and it will empower people to help shape policies and programs of government.
All right. Thank you very much, Congressman Ben Everdone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I'm glad I heard your voice tonight. Anyway, I think, do we still have Secretary Ricky Caranda on the line? Wala na. Okay. Di bale, next Wednesday na lang si Ricky. Thank you very much, Congressman Erin Tañada. Final words, you have 5 seconds.
Well, we still have time. And I'm looking forward to the interpellation and debate. And hopefully, my colleagues will be able to rise to the occasion and vote also on the bill.
Sana sabihan kami para ma-cover natin ng live. Ano? Anyway, maraming salamat ulit, Congressman Erin Tañada. Thank you for being here. That's it for tonight. This has been News.PH. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Thank you. Good night.